Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So, today, once again, as usual, we'll be playing another rapid game. So, my opponent opens the game with 1d4. Well, let's try d6. And my point being, after c4, I want to try to play e5 and try to go for the cover. Wow, my opponent plays e4. So, let's play knight f6 and try to transpose to a king's Indian. Yeah. Yeah, this is all standard stuff. Wow, queen e2 played by my opponent. Probably threatening e5. So let's ourselves play e5. Well, if my opponent takes here, I'll if my opponent takes, I'll recapture with the d pawn, and in the near future, I'll look to play c6 and queen c7. Yep. So he takes. I think in this very position, bishop g5 is a really tempting move for my opponent. Oh, opponent plays knight f3. Also a very natural move. Okay, so I can play bishop g4 here, or knight d7, knight c6, many options. Hmm. At first, I was tempted to play queen e7, but I'm seeing problems in that line since white can go for b3, a4, followed by bishop a3, attacking my queen. Hmm. I Knight d7 seems a decent move, but that blocks off my light square bishop. So knight c6 is also playable, but that stops me from playing this important move which I want, pawn to c6. This restricts my opponent's pieces very much. This move c6. Another c6 is actually a multi-purpose move, restricting my opponent's pieces and also enabling me to play queen c7. Wow. Yeah. So, hmm, was thinking of bishop g4, but then h3. I would have to give up my bishop pair if playing that. Because if bishop g4, h3, I cannot retreat my bishop back to h5 since g4 traps my light squared bishop. So probably got to play a move like, yeah. So my candidate moves in this position are bishop g4 or knight c6. I'm probably thinking bishop g4 since after knight c6 my opponent has bishop b5, pinning the knight, indirectly hitting this e5 pawn. Yep, let's play bishop g4. Yeah, of course I need to remind you what. Wow, wow, I completely missed this idea. Bishop into f7. The point being, king into f7 runs into knight into e5. Wow, can't believe I just missed it. Yeah, I'm in utter shock right now. Yep, so I'm thinking king into f7, knight into e5, king, e8 takes bishop into c3. Let's probably just play king f8. Yeah, probably much worse in this position. What I wanted to say is, if any of you all watching are interested in playing me on Lichess, please drop a message and feel free to challenge me when I'm online. You all can send a message to my inbox saying I want to play you, and you all can challenge me when I'm online. If you all want me to accept your challenge, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Wow. B3? Wait, what? Isn't this a blunder? I know he's threatening bishop a3, but I can simply take here. Yeah, let's take it. Now I'm just threatening because bishop a3 runs into king into f7. There is queen c4 check, but simply... Whoa. My opponent didn't actually blunder it, he calculated it. Wow. Queen c4 check. Forcing my king to e8, and then... Wow. Really nice playing by my opponent here. Because king into e8 runs into queen e6 check. Yeah. Then leads to checkmate. Let's play knight d5. No other option. Yeah. Best move for my opponent's probably going to be knight into d5. Yeah, some interesting line. Because my... Yeah, I'm currently up 2 minor pieces here. So... So yeah. If my opponent plays knight into d5, he can threaten a discovered to my king. So I was threatening the knight into d5 to play this move b5, and that like deflects his queen. After queen into b5, I can take bishop into 4. Yep, this looks attractive. Yep, let's go for it. Because I don't think there's a double check he has with the knight. Yeah, and as I was saying before, if you all want to play me, please leave me a message on Lichess. Yeah, y'all can see my profile name here, Nabil Veda 721. Y'all can leave a message saying, "Hi Nabil, I subscribe to your channel and please accept my challenge." And y'all can challenge me and I'll be sure to accept. Whoa, so my opponent plays queen into c7. Oh, since my rook is trapped, yeah, I can't really move my king because, yeah, he can simply take my bishop and that would be horrible. Yep, let's take this pawn. And once knight into a, let's recapture with bishop into a. Or if once knight into a, let's probably throw the intermezzo bishop into g2 followed by bishop into a. Yeah, f3 was a good move because this rook is anyway trapped. Can play knight. Yeah, let's just keep the bishop. Yeah. After Once again, a series of tactical blows by my opponent will liquidate it into a late middle game, sort of endgame. And if any of you all are interested, you all can send me a private message on Leeches to challenge you a game. And if you all really want, I can make that game into a video and upload it on YouTube on behalf of you. Yeah, my opponent plays Rook D1. Great move, great developing move. Yeah. Not sure what exactly to play. Bishop f8 looks interesting. Because after bishop into f8, my opponent can't. It's controlled. And the trades of bishop are probably good for me. Trade of dark squared bishops. And another point being bishop f8. If he tries to pin my rook with rook d8, I have this nice little move, bishop b4 check. And after bishop into b4, I can simply take his rook on d8. Yep, let's go for it. Yeah, so if any of y'all want to challenge me and I can record that video and upload it on YouTube, you all can just send me a request saying, "Hi Nabil, please play a challenge with me and please upload the video on YouTube." And I will surely, most of the time, accept your request and upload the video on YouTube. But don't forget to subscribe because only the people who subscribe will have this privilege. Yeah. So if I want to do a material check here, I would consider this rook hanging. Yeah. And once bishop into a8, the material is going to be bishop and 2 pawns versus rook. Wow! My opponent plays rook d8. Did he blunder into this? I think so. Can play bishop b4 check. Wow! My opponent blundered into this. He just hung a rook. So I lose a bishop and gain a rook, which is and I'm winning an exchange here. Wow, I think my opponent missed this. Yeah, because once he recaptures my bishop, I can simply take his rook. And then knight into 8, bishop into 8, and I'll emerge a piece up. Yep. Yeah, so now I've got a knight for a couple of pawns. Wow, so my opponent plays bishop c3, attacking my pawn on e5. Well, at first I considered rook c8, attacking the bishop, but then he has king d2. Now I'm thinking of playing king a6, protecting this pawn with the king and getting my king to the center. Let's do it. Because for anyone who doesn't know, a king is a really useful piece in the endgame. And one of the most important roles in the endgame is to try to bring your king to the center as fast as possible. Wow, so my opponent also brings his king in with king a2. I can play rook c8, but then king d7, yeah. First, let's develop our pieces. Very important even in the endgame. Yeah, so what would be ideal for me is to try to trade as many pieces as possible and go into a piece versus pawn endgames. Yeah, my opponent plays king f2. Probably idea of putting pressure on my e5 pawn. Hmm. Let's play b4, attack the bishop and gaining more space. And since if a move like bishop b2 is played, I can at this check and pick up the pawn on c2. Yeah, now I'm probably expecting resignation from my opponent. Yeah, he resigns. Wow, so he sends a rematch. Yeah, let's rematch him. And once the game is over, let's look over both the games. Yeah, so let's open the game with e4, some standard line. Hmm. So, I usually tend I like to play some aggressive opening where I try to make my opponent think, and yeah, I would just want to outcalculate my opponent. So he plays Sicilian. Let's play knight f3. Play for open Sicilian. So my opponent plays e6. Well, he is repeating the same line that we played a couple of games ago. For anyone who hasn't watched that game, I've uploaded that video on YouTube. I highly recommend that you watch that video. Yeah. In that game, I think I played d4. Yeah, let's go for d4. a6. At once knight c3, black's main idea in these type of positions is to play bishop b4 and attack the knight on c4. Yeah, so let's probably play a3, a prophylactic move, stopping bishop b4 ideas. Now let's play knight back to c3, protecting. I think this move a3 is really nice because now, yeah, no bishop b4s. Queen c7 is played by my opponent. I think another advantage of a3 is black doesn't have this b5 b4 pushes. Yeah, now for anyone who hasn't watched, I introduced this idea in the last video where my opponent where I we played a similar game. I played a novelty idea which I'm going to repeat in this game. G4. Bam. Getting right into my opponent. This is actually the improvement of the game that I played before because now black doesn't have any bishop b4 threats. If you all haven't watched the previous video, I've already uploaded the video. Please go check out the video. It would be really useful for you to check out the key subtle differences that arise out of the Sicilian. Once again, I'll be reminding you, please like the video, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Yeah, so my opponent plays knight c6. Interesting. Hmm. many moves to play g5, to play my knight to b3, or now that I've been looking at it, even knight e2 is a really interesting idea with ideas of bishop f4 and tapping black's queen on c7. I don't think knight f3 is a good idea because it just blocks my f2 pawn. Yep. So to get it straight, my candidate moves in this position are knight b3, knight e2, and g5. So first, let's calculate g5. If g5, my opponent will probably take on d4, and once I recapture with the queen, I don't think knight h5 is a good option because I can keep on hitting the knight. Therefore, my opponent will have to retreat his knight to g8. So takes, and knight g8, where I'm probably emerging with a better position. Oh, I have this nice positional idea. g4, knight captures knight, queen captures knight, and once knight g8, pushing e5 and having a really great positional edge. Well, if g4, if my opponent decides to play knight g8 right away, well, for all of you that ask why knight h5 isn't possible here, well, of course I cannot capture on h5 since my knight on d4 is hanging. So therefore, after g4, knight into h5, I capture on c6. And once black recaptures, then I capture this loose knight on h5 and then I emerge a full piece up. So g4, what if my opponent immediately simply retreats his knight back to g8 instead of capturing on d4? Well, then, yeah, then I would probably play knight b3 or f4 and play a normal position. Now that I'm deeply analyzing, I don't think knight e2 is a good move because anyway after bishop f4 my opponent can simply play e5, attacking my own bishop. Knight b3 is also a move, but yeah, if I can force g5 knight g8 and then knight b3, that would be a better version. So let's go g5. Let's go all out here. Yeah, I think I've got a decent edge here. Yeah, I'm not. Wow, knight into e4? Seriously? Wow. What's the idea behind this move? Well, because I can simply take the knight and once check I can retreat back. Oh, probably knight into e4 and then queen e5. Well, let's take the knight first. Now probably queen e5. Yeah, yeah, my opponent's been tactically very sharp. Even the last game. Yeah, this is yeah, I think I'm probably gonna emerge a pawn down in this variation. Well, if bishop g2, I've got this interesting line because bishop g2, knight into d4, and then f4. Yeah, yeah. Once again, I'm really low on time here. Yeah, and just to note, knight c6 is not possible because queen into e4 check, and then he can pick up my rook. So I'm considering bishop g2, and then he's probably forced to take with the queen. Yeah, and then I'll recapture and play a normal game. Yeah, though I'm probably gonna emerge a pawn down. He's gonna take here. If queen takes, I'm thinking of bishop e3. If queen takes, then I'll take with the rook and I'll be happy. But he can capture the pawn on b2. Well then, whoa, yeah, he takes with the queen. Castle, if castle is the safe option, bishop e3 is the more ambitious option. Yeah, my rook is, yeah, let's just castle. Yeah, and we are the on time as well. Yeah, d5. Really tough position. The reason I played knight c3 instead of knight g3 is of some sacrificial potential. Yeah, I should have just played knight g3 followed by c5. Yeah, once again, like in the game I played before in the same variation, after emerging with the worst position, the position somehow became unclear. Putting pressure along the d file. I think I'll probably be regaining the pawn, but who's better? That I'm not sure. Yep, let's recapture. Whoa, I should have taken on c3 first. Yeah, never mind, since this bishop's strong anyway. Yeah, so it's double rook and double bishop versus double rook and double bishop. Let's play rook d3. Let's not go all the way back to d1 because if I keep the rook on the third rank, then I can easily double the rooks. If I push his bishop, yeah, let's play bishop e3. If bishop into e3, I'm even considering taking with the f pawn. Ooh. The problem with b4, it was very tempting, but my opponent had this strong move, bishop d4. Probably gonna have to take back with the rook, putting pressure on this e5 pawn. Yeah. Now I think I'm better in this position. But yeah, but I think I'm better. But I think if black plays perfectly here, it should be an objective draw. Yeah, bishop f5. This is interesting. Yeah, I spent some time on that move, but I think rook b3 is a decent move because if bishop into e3, I can take with f into e3 and the pawn on b7 cannot be defended, especially because it cannot move since it hangs the rook on a8. You can also take on e3 and yeah, let's take with the f pawn. Because if I had taken like on e, yeah, yep, let's capture that pawn. Yeah, my opponent can play rook. Yeah, I think I will be pressing here, but I think a5 is an idea for my opponent. Yeah, if bishop f1, he'll probably play a5. Wow, tough, 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 tough. Yep, let's gain control over the d file, and my idea is to play rook d4 and put pressure on this e4 pawn. Yeah, now it's getting really tense. Whoa. Yep, let's probably take, liquidate into an endgame. I'm not sure of the objective result of this game, but yeah, I'll be pressing. But time is a crucial factor here. I'm down to just 32 seconds. And by the way, there's no increment, so got to rely on pre-moves here. Getting a bit tough. Whoa. My opponent's having a think here. Let's make our time efficient by thinking in our opponent's time. Well, we currently have 1/4 of our opponent's time. Yep, let's working. Whoa, I think I've got this small trick up my sleeve. Then we should. Yeah, I don't think he can take on b4 because I just queen with bishop f5 ideas. Or either, even bishop b7. think I can force an exchange of bishops here. Yeah, if he takes, let's get our king in. I should have played bishop d5 instead of king d6. Yeah, but it's okay. Think I should still be winning. This pawn, my pawn on g5 is doing a really useful job by clamping both white's f, g, and h pawns. Yeah, now it should be winning. Hope that we don't get flagged here. Whoa. Oh. Oh no! It's a draw! Oh no! I think we're winning here. Let's hope not to get stalemated. Let's give the bishop away. It's really confusing with the light squared bishop I have. I'd rather not have the bishop because there's lots of stalemating patterns going on. Yes! Wow! Wow! Really relieving. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I think I just missed a one move mate here. Yeah, should have just. What a crazy game. Let's go through the game. Yeah, let's first go through the previous game because we played two games. Yeah, yep, so we played black here. This was also a really nice tactical attempt by my opponent. I need to look into this line. We need to. Yep. Whoa. So apparently bishop g4 is a blunder. And my opponent was really tactically sharp to spot it. Yeah, now he should have simply retreated his bishop. Yeah, but b3 is also a great move in my opinion. I wouldn't consider it a blunder, but a slight inaccuracy. b3, it makes the game more beautiful and much more tactical, but objectively, I don't think it's too sound. Though white is still better here. Yeah, now it shows king into f7, but I was scared of this. Oh, the point being, now I win on c3. Yeah, that was the mistake of b3 because now this knight on c3 is loose. Yeah, so really subtle points here. Yeah, now it shows white is back to being better. This was a really nice plan by my opponent. Wow, the computer actually shows to take the bishop simply, which is actually really counterintuitive because you always want to take this knight and get a discovered on my king. Yeah, wow, now black is better. And I'm really proud of myself for finding this move b5. It's not a particularly hard move, but yeah, I think it's just the delicate touch on a defense. Yeah, now I felt during the game I should be better here. Yeah, now my opponent just blundered into bishop b4 check. Yeah, after this point, it was just a matter of converse. Yeah, and my opponent resigned. So, a really crazy game, a really interesting game, I would say. Yeah, now we get back to this game. Yep, so we open the game with e4. Yeah, and I think this is more or less like a Sicilian Khan. Yep, I want to check my move g4 here. Never been played before, so a novelty. Yeah, and the engine doesn't say too bad about it. It's pretty decent. Yeah, now knight into e4. Once again, my opponent was really tactically sharp to spot this idea. Yeah, knight g3 was better than my move of knight c3, but yeah, at the end I managed to create some counterplay. Yeah, think after castle c4. Yeah, now yeah, I was debating between bishop into c6 and knight into e4, though I took on d4 eventually. Yeah, now I agree with the computer where white is better. Yeah, I'm proud of myself for finding bishop e3. Because if b4, my opponent has bishop d4. Yeah, now after bishop into e3, no, he didn't take on e3. Bishop f5. Yeah, I just wanted to point out if bishop e3, bishop into e3, rook into e3, and yeah, I'll be pressing in this position. Yeah, I captured with the f pawn. Yeah, and now it says my positions. If my opponent had gone rook d8, which seems the most natural move here, I personally would have played rook a2, guarding the second rank, and if he gives a check, simply move my king up the board and start rolling these pawns down the board. Yeah, after this point, I think it's an objective win. Yeah, I should have just played bishop d5 here, but king d6 also is winning. Yeah, oh sorry, oops. Yeah, this was just a simple win, but then since I was so low on time, as you can see here, I just, yeah, I cannot explain what I did. Yeah, now this was just a draw. I can't believe I blundered into this. Yeah, because once my opponent gets his king to h8, it's an opposite colored bishop rook pawn. So that's a theoretical draw. Yeah, now I was back to winning. And then this was the annoying part. Since I had this light squared extra white light squared bishop, there were lots of stalemating ideas. So yeah, I was really scared that I would stalemate the game under time pressure. It would have helped me if I hadn't had this light squared bishop, because then I would have checkmated with the queen and king. But since I had this bishop, I was scared of stalemate ideas, and instead of going for a checkmate, I was just moving pieces around the board in hope of flagging my opponent. Yeah, not the best of play here. Just so. So yeah, I even missed a mate in one under time pressure. You cannot blame me because I had, yeah, just 7 milliseconds here. Yeah, it was a really crazy game. And from this video, you can learn the really subtle differences in the Sicilian. Like, y'all can compare my video where I had the same line against the same opponent where I hadn't played the move a3 and I ran into some bishop b4 pins. So these are really subtle differences in the Sicilian, and if you haven't watched my previous video, I highly recommend that you watch it to compare the variations and differences. And once again, let me remind you, please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and please, if if you all wish to challenge me, please drop me a challenge on Lichess. And once again, see you.